You know, when you hear Sunset Home today, you probably picture, well, a pretty nice place, right? A modern senior living community. But what if I told you it all started with just three gentlemen, a spare hospital floor, and a community here in Utica that was kind of desperate for solutions?
It's hardly what you'd expect for such a well-established institution, is it?
Not at all. We're talking 140 years of the Sunset Home of Utica, and trust me, the story is anything but typical.
Oh, it's a fascinating journey to be sure.
And the best part is, we've got this incredible historical document they shared with us, spanning from 1882 to 2024, packed with details even longtime Utica residents might not know.
I bet. I was amazed by some of the things I found just digging into these archives.
So to kick things off, paint us a picture. 1878, Utica, New York. What's the scene?
Picture this. It's 1878, and St. Luke's Home for Women is overflowing. They simply don't have the space. Meanwhile, Faxton Hospital has this empty floor, just sitting there unused.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
It's almost accidental, really, this catalyst for what would become, well, a Utica institution.
Almost like a microcosm of the challenges facing seniors even back then, right? Limited options, a growing need, and boom, the home for aged men, as it was called then, takes off like wildfire.
Exactly. It speaks volumes, really, about the societal view of aging in the late 19th century. Remember, there wasn't widespread Social Security or pensions back then. Families were often responsible for elderly relatives, but not everyone could provide that care at home.
Right, makes sense.
So this small act of opening a floor to just three men, it snowballed because it addressed a very real and growing need.
Okay, so the need is there, but they're not just going to build a whole new building right out of the gate, are they? How did they even start to address that need? Was it all wealthy benefactors from the get-go?
Well, while there were certainly some generous individuals, the early days were all about community support, really. We're talking $10 annual subscriptions, which, let me tell you, was a small fortune at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And organizations like the Needlework Guild pitching in, making things to sell, donating goods. What strikes me is the personal touch.
Yeah.
This wasn't just about money. It was about expressing care for these elderly folks.
Oh, absolutely. Our document mentions the flower mission, young women bringing flowers to every resident every week.
Is that right? How lovely.
It really speaks volumes about the community spirit surrounding the home, even in its infancy.
It does, doesn't it? And that spirit of community wasn't just limited to donations. As the home grew, so did their need for space. They actually went through several name changes, each reflecting a broader mission and a response to the evolving needs of Utica's seniors.
Okay, so walk us through it. What were some of these names?
They started as the Home for Aged Men. Pretty straightforward, right?
To the point.
But eventually they expanded to include couples, which led to the rather clunky name, Home for Aged Men and Couples.
Let me guess. Thankfully, they didn't stick with that one for too long.
You're right about that. Common sense prevailed. Finally, in 1963, they landed on Sunset Home.
Much better.
Right. This signified a crucial shift, moving away from a purely needs-based model toward a concept of, well, living out one's later years with dignity and purpose, a concept that continues to guide their mission today.
I like it. Purpose. But getting back to their growth, they couldn't stay on that one floor forever.
No, they couldn't. The document actually walks us through a series of expansions, each one highlighting a commitment to meeting the residents' evolving needs.
So tell us, what were some of the milestones in these early years? Were there any particularly interesting expansions or renovations you came across in your research?
In 1891, they made a huge leap forward with a brand new building. This wasn't just about cramming in more beds, it was about creating a comfortable and dignified living space. Then, in 1907, they added a new kitchen.
Okay, I have to know. What was so special about this 1907 kitchen? Did they finally ditch the wood-fired ovens?
Well, among other things, they addressed a rather pressing issue, the laundry situation. Imagine hauling laundry up and down flights of stairs for dozens of residents with just those old wooden tubs. This renovation wasn't just about efficiency, it was about dignity and respect for the residents.
You know, it's amazing how these seemingly small changes can have a huge impact on people's lives. You're right, it's easy to overlook those everyday aspects when you think about a place like this. It's not just about providing a roof and meals, it's about quality of life. But tell me, this was still the era of upfront entrance fees, right? That must have been a barrier for many.
You've hit on a pivotal point. This brings us to the 1950s, when the home made a monumental decision to switch from large upfront payments to a monthly fee model. This might seem like a minor detail, but it reflects a profound societal shift.
This is where it gets interesting for me. It's not just about bricks and mortar, it's about adapting to the changing needs and financial realities of seniors.
Exactly. With pensions and Social Security becoming more common, the needs of seniors were changing. This switch to monthly fees wasn't just about making the home more accessible. It was about recognizing that seniors needed more financial flexibility in their later years.
This really highlights the home's forward-thinking approach, wouldn't you say? They weren't content with just, maintaining the status quo. They were actively looking for ways to better serve their community. But they weren't done evolving, not even close. Our listeners are probably picturing I don't know, a typical senior living complex. But I'm sensing Sunset Wood is anything but typical. So give us the inside scoop. What makes this place the culmination of the home's 140-year journey?
Well, Sunset Wood, which opened back in 1985, really marked a significant evolution in their approach to senior living. This wasn't just about providing care anymore. It was about enabling independence.
Okay, I like where this is going. Tell me more.
So they secured a $1.5 million loan to build 43 apartments. These were designed specifically for independent seniors, but, and here's the real innovation, they offered built-in support services.
Now we're talking. What kind of support are we talking about?
Nightly dinners, weekly housekeeping, activities, you name it. And get this, the rent was around $750.
Wow, that's a steal even by today's standards.
Right. Talk about being ahead of the curve.
They were way ahead of the curve. It's incredible to think they were pioneering this model back in the 80s. But they didn't stop there, did they? The document mentioned something about penthouses.
You're right, they didn't just rest on their laurels. Fast forward to 2002, and they added another 24 two-bedroom apartments, which they call penthouses, bringing the total to 66 units.
So they more than doubled in size. That's impressive.
It is, isn't it? And this expansion also included a second dining room, more office space, another elevator, additional parking, and a community room. They even secured a $3.7 million loan for this expansion. It really shows their commitment to meeting those growing needs of seniors.
Okay, hold on. I need to do the math here. So they started with 3 guys and a spare hospital floor, and now they have this bustling community of 66 apartments. That's some serious growth.
It really is remarkable, isn't it?
But what really stands out to me is this whole aging in place concept. Tell me they didn't abandon those who needed a little extra help as they went through these expansions?
Oh, absolutely not. This is where Sunset Wood truly shines. They embraced the idea that seniors should have the option to age in place in their own homes for as long as possible.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. It's about providing options and flexibility, recognizing that, well, one size doesn't fit all when it comes to senior living. But let's be honest, it's one thing to talk the talk, right? It's another to actually implement this kind of innovative approach. So what kind of concrete steps did they take to make aging in place a reality at Sunset Wood?
They've constantly adapted. They've constantly innovated.
Yeah.
In 2016, for example, they expanded their maintenance and culinary teams. They recognized the importance of, a well-maintained and welcoming environment. Then, during that whole 2020 pandemic, they really stepped up.
Oh, I bet that was a challenge. Everyone was scrambling to adapt during those uncertain times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Sunset Wood, they didn't just react. They saw an opportunity to further enhance their services.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What did they do?
Well, for one thing, they started offering a full meal package to all those penthouse residents, recognizing that, a healthy diet was more important than ever, right? They also implemented a campus-wide, high-speed internet network.
Smart move. Keeping those residents connected, especially during a time of isolation.
That was the idea. They wanted to make sure residents could stay connected with loved ones, access telehealth services, all those essential things.
That's incredible. It sounds like they went above and beyond to support their residents during a time of, well, unprecedented isolation. But I have to ask, all this technology, did it really make a difference for their residents? We all know how challenging it can be for some seniors to adapt to new gadgets and all that.
Right. It's a valid concern. And that's actually where their partnership with Kennesaw State University comes in.
Kennesaw State. Now, this is interesting. Tell me everything.
So they conducted a study, you see, on the impact of this smart device program they implemented. And the results, well, they were fascinating.
I bet. Don't leave me hanging. What did they find?
It turns out that the residents, well, they felt more independent, more connected after receiving the devices.
That's amazing. So it wasn't about replacing human connection. It was about empowering residents to, well, manage their lives more easily.
Exactly.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Real data backing up the impact of these initiatives. It sounds like Sunset Wood is all about continuous improvement. Did they rest on their laurels after that, or did they have even more tricks up their sleeves?
Remember how we talked about their shift in focus from activities to a more, holistic wellness program?
Yes, yes, wellness. That's where the real magic happens, right?
They weren't just satisfied with offering some exercise equipment. They wanted to give residents the tools and resources they needed to, well, to really take a proactive approach to their health. So, for example, they incorporated an in-body 270 body composition analyzer.
Hold on, an in-body analyzer? That's pretty high tech. What exactly does that measure? I'm picturing something out of Star Trek.
It's not quite as fancy as Star Trek, but it's pretty cool. It measures things like muscle mass, which is actually a key indicator of independence as we age.
Oh, that makes sense.
Maintaining muscle mass, it's crucial for seniors if they want to stay active, stay mobile.
So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. And what about those who might need a little extra help in that department?
Don't worry, they've got that covered too. They partnered with this great physical and occupational therapy group, Rise Senior Living, to provide on-site therapy sessions.
Oh, that's fantastic. So convenient for the residents.
That's the idea. Residents can conveniently access the care they need, address those age-related issues, all without leaving the community.
It sounds like they've thought of everything. They're really setting a new standard for senior living. But this was all before the recent renovations, right? What did they focus on in this latest phase?
Well, let me tell you, talk about a commitment to continuous improvement. This year, they completed major renovations, really focused on enhancing the living spaces, creating an even more vibrant and welcoming environment.
Give us all the juicy details. What did they tackle?
Well, they upgraded the penthouse kitchens, for one. Granite countertops, new cabinets, stainless steel appliances,
Yeah.
the works. It's all about creating a space where residents can truly enjoy their independence and, well, take pride in their surroundings.
Those penthouse kitchens sound amazing. I might want to move in myself. But it sounds like they didn't just focus on the penthouse dwellers. What about the rest of the community?
Oh, they didn't forget about them. They created a beautiful new front patio, perfect for socializing, enjoying the outdoors, that sort of thing. Plus, they added security cameras, peace of mind. But here's the real gem, a brand new therapeutic garden.
Oh, I love that. I can already picture it. A serene oasis filled with fragrant flowers, the gentle sound of a water feature. What a perfect spot for residents to relax, reflect, connect with nature.
Exactly. It's all about creating an environment that, well, nurtures the mind, body, and spirit.
Well, there you have it. From those humble beginnings with just those three gentlemen on that spare hospital floor to this incredible community that really is, it's at the forefront of senior living. The Sunset Home of Utica has consistently demonstrated an unwavering dedication to evolving, to really evolving with the needs of its residents. It's really an inspiring testament to their commitment to their community, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And, they've really shown us that aging in place, it's about more than just the physical space. It's about fostering that independence, providing that support, creating that community where seniors can thrive. The Sunset Homes journey, it holds some valuable lessons, I think, for all of us as we navigate the challenges and the opportunities of an aging society.
So true. If you're interested in learning more about the community at Sunset Wood, or perhaps even getting involved in their mission, be sure to check out their website. You might be surprised at what you discover. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the inspiring 140-year history of the Sunset Home of Utica. Thanks for joining us.